Hi, how's it going, everyone? So today I'm excited to share with you a solid scan. This one is called the 4-day buy pattern. It comes out of a magazine called Stocks and Commodities, where the person that wrote it, Toby Crabel, wrote this piece where he described this working 90% of the time in terms of profitability, but described it as rare, very rare actually. But given that we have this scanning tool, it might not be as rare as we think it is. The one note that I will share for this one before we jump into it is that it's meant to be used at the open of the stock market. So shortly after the stock market opens, you would want to run this scan, and you'll get the best results. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm gonna break it up into three parts to make it a little bit more digestible, and I'll explain what I'm doing as I go along. So let's jump in. So the first line is always going to be type is stock, right? Second line and third line are going to be my filters. So the country is US and the close, and I'll fix that slash in just a second, is greater than 1. All right, next we are going to break it up into three parts like I mentioned. So looking at today, as the name implies, is 4 days. So we're going to start with today and yesterday, and then we're going to work backwards looking at yesterday and 2 days ago, and work backwards looking at 2 days ago and 3 days ago. And so let's go ahead and start with today and yesterday. We want to see that today's open is greater than yesterday's close. And that's that for that. And then next, we want to look that yesterday and 2 days ago. We want to see that yesterday was an inside day. And I mentioned this at a previous video when we talked about inside days and narrow range. But we want to see that yesterday's high and low are contained within 2 days ago's high and low. And to do that, we're going to look for yesterday's high to be smaller than it was 2 days ago. And then for the low, we want to see that yesterday's low was greater than it was 2 days ago. And so one example would be that if yesterday's high was 80, you would want to see that the one prior was 90, so a little bit higher. And then you want to see that yesterday's low, if it was 20, you would want to see that 2 days ago was 10. All right. And then the last thing we want to look at is 2 days ago and 3 days ago. And what we want to see is that 3 days ago, we want to see a really big high, and then we want to see it drop just a little bit on 2 days ago, and then we want to see it drop from 2 days ago. We want to see it drop a little bit from yesterday, and then we want to see that the open is greater than the close. Today's open greater than the close. That's the pattern that we're building. And so to finish it off, we want to add the 3 days ago, and we're looking at a high here, and we want to see that 3 days ago's high was greater than it was 2 days ago. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and run this scan. We should get about 80 results, right? And let's take a look at a couple. So let's look at, I don't know, let's look at next cure. Hopefully that's not too choppy. All right, here we go. So I'll zoom in, and let's remind ourselves of the parameters. So we wanted to see that today's open was greater than yesterday's close. So this is today's open, and it was greater than yesterday's close. And then we want to see that the high and low from yesterday, so there's the high and low, is contained within yesterday's high and low, which it is. And then we want to see that 2 days ago's high was less than 3 days ago's high, which we do see, right? And in this case, we do see that the pattern has dropped, but that's okay. You can tell just by the trend that this looks like it's undervalued based on the 200-day moving average. So it eventually needs to come back up, but you want to use your other indicators to let you know what's a good signal or whatnot. So let's look at one more example. This one is certainly going to a place where it's going to be undervalued, which is a good sign that you want to buy low and sell high, right? So let's look at one more example. And why don't we look at GRWC? It's a bit choppy, but we can work with this. So here's yesterday's close, and here's today's open. So we definitely are seeing that the pattern matches. And then if we look at the high and low from yesterday, it is contained within the high and low from 2 days ago. And if we look at the high from 2 days ago, we do see that it is less than the high from 3 days ago. So here's the pattern. It's three reds and then a green, or a black in this case. But still, you want to make sure that you're looking at your other indicators. Like this one's very like throughout the days. There's a lot of volatility throughout the day. Um, all right, so I hope that was helpful. We're definitely gonna continue this trend with looking at different published scans and things like that. But wanted to talk about the 4-day buy pattern today. So hope you all have a great day. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Take care.